Hello and welcome to the Overly Animated Podcast, where we take animation seriously. We talk everything animation here, including Craig of the Creek, which we'll be getting into right now. I'm Dylan Hysen, and today I'm joined by Michelle Anderer.
Hello.
And Alex Bonilla.
Hola.
Today we are talking more Craig of the Creek, episodes 11 to 14, that were released online about a week ago before we're recording this. They are Dog Decider, Bring Out Your Beast, Lost in the Sewer, and The Future's Cardboard. Not sure on the TV status of these. I think most, if not all of them, have aired. And then looks like we're going to move to a Monday night weekly airing for May.
Weekly? What's that?
Oh, that's cool. Yay.
Yeah, I don't buy that Cartoon Network's going to stick to that, but that's what they said for May. 11 to 14 of Craig. We previously had podcasts on the pilot and on the first 10 episodes. So find those at overlyanimated.com. Search for Overly Animated Craig to find our new, brand new Craig specific iTunes feed to subscribe there. Or, if you're listening on YouTube, you can also subscribe there to not miss any of our Craig or other future podcasts. Make sure you check these 4 episodes out. We're going to be talking all of them, spoilers for all these episodes. So let's get into things. Michelle, what are your general impressions of, episodes 11 to 14?
I really liked them. There were a couple that I thought were like big standouts, but I think everything was really solid. I think the show is like kept consistently making really good episodes, and I like that they continue to bring in new characters fairly often, and they're all still really distinct and have like very particular personalities and points like in the stories. And I really, really like that. It definitely seems to be a big part of what makes the show special, and I think it's been working really well for them. I'm fairly high on these episodes. I think there's some of my faves in this batch of just these 4, honestly.
Some of your faves, nice. Okay, we'll get into which ones.
Yeah,
definitely true that they keep adding characters. I thought we got most of our main supporting cast in. Alex and I were making the flare for the Craig subreddit. Plug for that. Alex and I are mods on the Craig the Creek subreddit, and it's like, oh, we have like 5 more characters to add from these episodes. You know, like we got each episode introduces more new ones. Alex, what are your thoughts on these 4 episodes?
And we missed characters from the first 10 because of how many there actually are.
There's so many.
Yeah. But as for these particular episodes, I agree with Michelle that we're still on a consistent basis, putting out good to great episodes. I think as a group that they're probably a step down from the first 10 that we covered, but that's not to say that they're bad episodes. It's just like there were bigger standouts, I feel, in the early batch. But like Lost in the Sewer is great. Bring Out Your Beast is great.
Bring Out Your Beast.
I think Dog Decider is the episode that brings this group down a little bit for me, but it's also just a case comparing 10 episodes versus 4 episodes, right? So, but all in all, I think that we're still doing a good job of putting the side characters. Like, I don't want to say put the side characters front and center, but like I do feel like Craig, Kelsey, and JP in this group didn't get as much to do necessarily, and that's not a bad thing for this show because it's been doing so well with it, giving its side characters some personality as well. So it's still a very fun show to watch, and all these episodes made me smile at some point or another.
Is that the deciding factor on whether it's a good episode if it makes you smile?
Yeah, it gets some laughs out of me. It makes me feel comfy. That's what this show has been doing from the very beginning, and it's still doing that now. So
how many
very on brand.
How many Alex smiley faces would you grade these episodes?
Well, the Lost in the Sewer got 5 out of 5. So
5 smiles. Okay, yeah, we'll set up the tracker for that. I enjoyed these 4 episodes a lot. Still really loving Craig of the Creek. I think the show's just remarkably good, considering how early it is. Also, just like a remarkably good show in general. These episodes didn't pop as much to me as the first 10, so I kind of agree with Alex that it's like a slight quality step down from ones like You're It and the book one. There's not really a standout one here to me. I think if you're gonna, I assume people have been talking Bring Out Your Beast as a standout episode. That's a good one. How is that
not the standout? That was such a good episode.
I mean, I really connect to that, and I'll talk about that. But I don't know. I don't think any of these 4 are as good as those 2, but they're still really good. The other element is like the first 5-ish episodes were incredible quality wise. Then like the next 5 were like really progressive. So they popped in that way. And these 4 weren't either to me. Like, I mean, they were great, but they didn't like hugely pop quality wise or were particularly progressive. So,
I do agree on that front. Like these episodes feel a little more straightforward in their stories than the previous batch, I think. With the exception of Futurist Cardboard, I think that one's trying to be ambitious. It like works sort of, but we'll get to talking about that episode. But yeah, I think that's the only one that like tried to be a little bit more far out in its storytelling.
Right, they're a little standard. I think Futurist Cardboard in some ways is the most narratively ambitious episode of the show so far. Your mileage may vary on whether it succeeded in that, but I do think it tries to go places the show hasn't really done. But yeah, regardless, I think these are just another 4 very good episodes. I like Dog Decider a lot. I don't see a worst episode of the 4. I think they're all very good, and there just hasn't been a bad episode of Craig of the Creek so far, which is crazy. Or I don't even think there's like an average episode. I think they're all at least good. But yeah, let's get into these 4 episodes. I guess we should start with Bring Out Your Beast. Michelle seems very hype about this episode.
I don't even know why I'm so high in it. I didn't grow up playing a bunch of card games, but like, it's so, I don't know. It gives you the gist of what this card game is like pretty clearly. And like, finally, we get to see Craig bonding with his older brother. It isn't for like
that's why she's hype. There's Bernard.
Bernard. Oh, I love Bernard, and it was so good. And Bernard stayed like very true to his character, but they still got a bond. It's everything I like wanted to see from the show right off the bat. It was so good.
Yeah, well, it was a great Bernard episode. Definitely his best one, right, so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't had a lot of Bernard, so I mean,
I think potentially Alex last podcast called Bernard the character that hasn't popped as much as the others so far. I think that this episode changes that. Do you agree, Alex?
A little bit. It's to be determined, like if this actually changes anything in his dynamic with Craig. But it is refreshing to see that he's not a standard. Oh, I hate you. I hate my brother character. Like there is a softer side to him. So like if that gets a chance to come out with Craig every once in a while, that will be a nice welcome addition to the chemistry of the show.
Yeah,
because that's what I was worried about, that it would just stay at the get away Craig, or I'm busy Craig, or like if that was just his entire character, then it would end up being cardboard. But at least here it's developed a little bit.
The thing I think is really interesting about Bernard in this episode is that I think that his biggest flaw, I guess, is that he's so concerned with being like a mature adult person that he sacrificed his childhood, right? Because at one point he was super into this card game, and now he's like pushed it away because he's like, oh no, like that's just kid stuff. I don't do that anymore. If I use those cards, it's gonna be to pay for like my first like college check or to put a down payment on a used car. And when Alexis, his girlfriend, comes at the very end and sees him playing, she's kind of like really into it. He's like, oh yeah, I used to do this. But he's like kind of proud of himself. Like, I like that. I think there's something more there, getting into like Bernard being okay with doing kid stuff sometimes, because that seems to be like the one thing he really like it doesn't want to do anymore. And it's not like, being kind of kiddish isn't a bad thing. So I feel like that's part of what his and Craig's dynamic could get into in the future, which I think is really interesting if they do go that way.
And admittedly, on that front, it is relatable. Like in a sibling relationship, like you're the older one, you're kind of focused on school, and like your counselor is talking to you about your future, and like your little brother like still wants to play video games with you, or like wants you to do things, and you feel like you don't have the time for that. You have to focus on other stuff. And from the little brother's perspective, that can feel like very downplayed, or as if you're saying, dismissive. That's the word. But like as an older brother, you never really take that into account because you just have different priorities. But like the little brother can interpret it a little differently. So in that sense, I guess this episode is interesting, examining like the brother relationship at a little bit more of a different level than it has in previous episodes.
Yeah, because like when they're actually playing the game together, Craig's like, oh man, like I'm so sorry. I just like, I wanted to play this game with you, and like I was hoping that it could be a thing that would happen, but it never worked out when I was younger. And Brad's like, oh, like I didn't even like realize that was the thing you wanted to do. But yeah, okay. I'm sorry about that too. Let's like do what we can right now. And then he starts to realize like, Craig is a really smart kid and he's picking this game up really fast. And he kind of like, he respects him for that, which I think is also like, yay, brother bonding from different ages. That's so good.
Yeah, the Bernard and Craig sibling dynamic, I think, definitely shines in this episode, and he's like very happy towards Craig at the end, which is unusual from what we've seen so far. He calls him smart. He gives him the cards, and and then even he's like emoting more than normal. He's like, Alexis was impressed with him, and he's like, I was the best, and that's how I end the episode.
I know, because at first he's like embarrassed that he used to play like this kiddie card game, but then when Alexis is like down with it, he's like, yeah, I was really good.
Yeah, and I think you guys brought up a great point with this fleshes out Bernard's character in general a little bit. It's kind of just superficial, but his character setup is that he's just the serious, forward-thinking older brother, and we see kind of ramifications from that in this episode that continued from before, and that he lost.
Yeah, the flashback sequence was pretty interesting. Like to see them as a younger, and like that dynamic was already sort of there, but like it just in different context.
Yeah, and I really love how they transitioned out of the flashback. Craig, like, well, he like grew.
Grows.
And it's like we don't cut away; it's in shot. So yeah, Jason Dwyer and Tiffany Ford's storyboarding really like stood out to me in that sequence. The flashback in general was really excellent. Bernard really great in this episode, and I'd love to see more of this softer side of Bernard, especially because Alexis seems to be into it. So he's incentive maybe to be less seriously. I like. Well, where's our Alexis episode where we see how she feels about Bernard just being college all the time. Because it comes across that she's a little less so, maybe a little less serious, and she's just kind of going along with what Bernard wants here. I don't know.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah,
I kind of wonder how they met. Like,
at school? Probably.
No, I mean, like, how did they get together though? As like an item, you know? Because if she is more like kind of chill and less serious than Bernard, how did he get this like idea that like this is how he needs to be like, I don't know, mature or taken seriously or whatever? Because he does kind of calm down when he realizes she's like into the card game. So. I don't know. Was part of it to impress her? I just have like so many questions.
Yeah, I agree. How much of Bernard's front is, if it is a front?
It's real or a facade? Yeah.
Yeah. How much of it is because he thinks that's what Alexis wants? Like she wants a serious boyfriend. So
yeah,
maybe they'll start to loosen up more. Maybe maybe we'll get another episode with this dynamic and evolving, and we see Alexis more into it, and then like they accompany Craig to the creek, and like they're like LARPing and stuff with them.
Oh my god, yes.
Maybe. I don't know.
I feel like Alexis could be really into that.
I think so. It's hard to judge considering she's talked like twice in the show, but
I know she's very much in the background.
Yeah, but she's great. Okay. The other that was like I think the two big aspects of the episode, one is the Bernard stuff, other is the just the bring out your beast concept at the splintery butt. New location.
I love the splintery butt. I love that one kid like stands up. He's like, "Ow, my butt!" Just to like drive home why it's called the splintery butt.
It's like, it's actually splintery butts.
Literally, your butts will get splintered sitting around here.
Yeah, immediately to hearing the kid saying that. Yeah. Splinter. Yeah, bring out your beast. Harking to card games such as Magic the Gathering and Yu-Gi-Oh. A lot of people are getting Yu-Gi-Oh from this. I know that Matt Burnett, co-creator of the show, huge Magic player, and I am as well. And this is like a big intersection of everything.
I think one thing that stood out to me as Yu-Gi-Oh is like when the kid comes to steal the card. Is it he or she? I don't remember.
Turner.
Turner. But like she turns her hat and like her hair is sticking out kind of Yu-Gi-Oh style. Like that shot
so
is that has to be an homage to that.
Yeah, it's kind of a time to duel stuff. Yeah, that is the bring out your beast in general like that. And
but I do want to echo something Michelle said earlier. Like for someone who doesn't know anything about these card games, they present it in a way that's understandable enough.
Yeah.
Like I didn't necessarily feel lost. I think also the visuals of like seeing the damage points and stuff and like the cards coming up, like the way they presented it visually helps a lot for this to come across, even for people who don't play these kind of games at all.
Yeah, and sometimes they'd like read the stats in the cards. You're like, oh, okay, like you can only do damage, but it's like this kind of player. Like, oh, this one will actually give you damage after your turn. So like you kind of figure out some of the rules. So yeah, I agree. It's presented in a way that like you don't know like a ton, but you know enough to like get the gist so that you're invested in like how it's gonna go down.
Yeah, and Bernard outlines all the rules very quickly, and then Craig's like, "Say that, but yeah, slower." There's not really a sense of logic to what's happening. It's very homage to like Yu-Gi-Oh anime and other card playing animes with that type of style.
So would you say that in simplifying it, it no longer resembles the actual game?
No, because there are specific references to Magic cards, in this episode. And I have them written down. I don't know if I'm going to go over all of them, but like, it's definitely there. It's definitely like not just an episode of them playing Magic. It's, like it's focused on the effect that them playing is having and doing it in service of the story.
Right.
The most direct like comparison overall is this Beast Snare.
Beast Snare.
Yeah,
I just love that.
Yeah, so this is referencing the early days of Magic 25 years ago where you played with an ante, which is you like bet one of your cards on the match, and there are specific cards that reference that, and that's what this is in reference to, which is some like really, it's not like really obscure, but it's like not even all people who play Magic would know about, like,
yeah, 25 years ago you need to be like
25 years
historian.
ago, the dawn of when we existed, probably. Yeah,
but yeah, no, I tweeted this at Matt and he confirmed this. Yes, this is what this is a reference to Auntie, and that's and it's like a weird choice, but I think that they do this because it's in service of the narrative for this episode.
Yeah,
and using it's like an interesting thing to have him stealing all the cards, and I think that's used really well. The thing I was most impressed with in how they used magic was like having a resolution to the Beast Snare that was like really interesting gameplay wise, like and also is like interesting narratively, like
because that is interesting that like he's defeated, but like within the structure of the game that they were playing, as opposed to like some kind of outside influence. It made the game interesting from beginning to end in that sense.
Yeah, so Craig has the Squeakers card that deals 3 damage to you at the end of turn, like a mana crypt type card, and he plays it, and then she steals it, so then it deals damage to her, and like this is like a donate effect in Magic, which you give your opponent the card, and this is like a thing, like very obscure corner case thing, where if you have a card that do bad things to you, you can give it to your opponent, and then it does bad things to them, and I was very impressed with the logic of how that was factored into the episode's resolution. The other big aspect of this that I really connected to was, we talked about how this show is just very relatable. This is very much something that, personally connects with me. When I was like younger, my brother was the big Magic player, and then I like started playing with his cards like this. And then when I got back into it, years later, I like went back and got his old cards, and, just a very kind of, relatable dynamic with the cards from your childhood that your brother had, and then also like the playing with your brother, and it's another it's another way in which the show has so kind of directly honed into specific experiences, I think.
That's a really good point, because I was going to say, like, again, like, I didn't grow up with card games, but I do distinctly remember moving to a new town when I was like 10 or maybe even younger, and everyone in my new town was obsessed with Pokemon. And I had like the smallest amount of reference to Pokemon before then, but it became like the thing everyone would do on the bus, going to and from school. And so it's like, oh god, I had to like get Pokemon cards. But like, I didn't know what I was doing. So seeing Craig just like, like pack his first deck, be like, I don't know what these cards are, but I'm gonna play them, and maybe they won't work, but who cares? I just want to do it. I knew that feel so well, because I was like not doing well with the cards, but like I was just like, I just want to like fit in. Yeah. This is the cool thing to do.
Yeah. Also, just the experience of trying to get into what everyone else is into. Definitely.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's another good one. But yeah, just a ton of Magic references in the episode. We also have protective sleeves at the end. Cards being worth money, old Magic cards worth money. Then we have references to specific cards like Regrowth and Lightning Bolt. It's great. I was loving all of this. I'm unsurprised that Matt Burnett gets his own show, and within the first 15 episodes makes a Magic episode. I hope for more to come with this. What do we think about Turner, who's this the Beast Snare holder character in this episode? Another minor character. She kind of tricks Craig into getting the Beast Snare, and then uses it to take everyone's cards. I thought she was a cool addition.
Yes. I love Turner. I just love how scrappy she is. She's like such a tomboy, and she's that baseball hat she wears kind of to the side. She's just so awesome.
Yeah, it's not too much personality outside of being like cool and somewhat deceptive.
The only thing that stands out to me is like the animation they use whenever she gets defeated in the beginning, and then at the end,
she
like
falls.
Like
at least she takes the dive. Like she's a good team player, even if like she snatched the card away once it was under the rock. I mean, when she loses, she admits she loses, which I think is good sportsmanship.
Yeah. I did like that that Turner was like, was into it and went along with like the LARPing of them playing when she's like, no has defeated. Yeah.
Nice. Well, it lasted.
Yeah. So we could see Turner again. We also had the Elders of the Creek back in this episode.
Yes.
Yeah, I had this quote in the Bernard section too, which the main elder, I think JP's like, they've already won. They're brothers again. You blockhead. That's not how you win. Yeah,
I love JP. Again, his one-liners are like so freaking on point. All 4 of these episodes.
Yeah, but the elders playing the game. This is like a natural fit with with the older kids being into this, and I thought they're good here again.
Yeah, although I think only the main elder got any shine. Like his 2 buddies were kind of in the background entirely.
Yeah,
this is true.
Yeah, I think he's voiced by Ben and not Matt, even though he's the magic playing one, which is interesting. But yeah, he's that's my fave elder is the main one. I don't know.
He's cool.
Okay.
Does he have a name?
Yeah, they all. I went over this when we did the flare. I can look this up.
Okay.
Do some research.
Yeah. No, we got the main one is Mark. Yeah, and then the other one is Barry. Okay, and then there's also the third one who doesn't do anything. So we'll see.
Just named third one.
Yeah. Other notable moments in the episode: Craig singing "Little Butler" theme from Steven Universe.
Yeah.
Crossover.
Yeah. What is this crossover?
I would approve of that.
Yeah. Does this confirm that Craig takes place in the Steven universe?
And well, there was a Steven Universe plush in the pilot. So
That's
what
true.
if Steven Universe is just another show in their universe?
Oh, okay, that could be too.
Oh no, that seems.
Yeah, I mean, it could just be what if
accurate.
Little Butler was a show in there. But,
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Normally this would not matter. The Steven Universe world is a little bit screwed up though. So this would. Do they have diamonds coming down in the Craig universe?
We have we seen them hold dollar bills yet?
Oh, yeah. Okay, that'll give it away. Other random stuff. Oh, yeah, we had more Alexis and Bernard moments. I think Bernard calls Alexis the love of my life. Like, okay.
Yeah,
Bernard.
And then Alexis blushes.
He's in high school.
Chill out,
That's
Bernard.
fair. He's in high school. It's understandable.
Well, it's like also the barbecue episode where he's drying off. Alexis like, you look beautiful.
I know.
Alexis, I know.
I know.
Yeah, very dramatic. They're having bubble tea while learning about the Teapot Dome scandal. I like that.
Oh yeah, careful! There's boba. She said it so seriously.
Bernard is like, "Isn't this romantic?"
I know. I like him. He's like a serious nerd.
He's a serious nerd. Yes, that is.
There's so many flavors of nerd. I like the flavor of Bernard. It's his nerdumness.
Okay, we'll go over the other nerd flavors as we go. But I like Kelsey in this episode with the Mortimer card, which was a phoenix. I like that.
Oh yeah, and then like JP used like his cousin or something, just a picture of his cousin,
his uncle with a mustache.
His uncle, yeah.
Yeah, they tried making their own cards. Yeah, and then
is that allowed?
No, it's not allowed.
It didn't work very well. So
last they say. We had this from Bernard. He says, there's a note on it that said, I came to life and had an adventure. Love your cards.
Who's to say?
Yeah, that was good. Okay, but overall, yeah, I thought this was a very good episode. When are we getting the Beast sequel episode?
Ooh. What was this, episode 11 or so, like episode 22?
Something like that.
Yeah, this is 12. So, okay, 10 episodes. That's pretty soon, but okay.
Praying for like the state like tournament championship.
Yeah, they go to a tournament. Yeah,
montage. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, Craig has the cards now, so maybe he's playing between episodes.
Bernard has the knowledge of an elder, so together they'll win.
Yeah, did Bernard talk to the elders? Because presumably they know each other.
No! That's the thing. They're probably the same age, and if Bernard still played this guard, he would, like, kick, like, their butt every time. So they're lucky he doesn't care anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, they're lucky because they're just beating up on the kids.
Exactly.
Why aren't they playing with competition?
The elders are older than Bernard, no?
I thought they were the same age.
I read them as in high school, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's not clear. But yeah, we'll see if we get some elder backstory. Let's talk Lost in the Sewer next. I know Alex is hyped.
Yes. Finally, a canon Sewer Queen episode, guys.
Yes, it is canon.
Yeah, Alex, you are our Sewer Queen stan. So, what did you think of her appearance in this episode?
I would like to be a citizen of the Sewer Kingdom immediately, please. Sewer Queen she's just incredible. She's a leader from the get-go. Everybody looks to her for advice, and she's very confident. But also, like, her design is nice, and apparently those goggles are prescription goggles, so they're actually glasses. So that makes me like her even more.
Yeah, I thought this episode was good when Sewer Queen was on the screen, and just okay when she wasn't.
Agreed.
Yeah, I agree too.
The in between did feel like it dragged a little bit.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's what kept it from being like super high on the list for me, because like I love Sewer Queen as a character, but I'm not as invested in, say, her disciples or the sewer realm in general, at least not to this point. And
like the story itself is Craig trying to be a leader, but like we've seen Craig be a leader in previous episodes too.
He's fine being the leader.
Yeah, it's like it just feels like hey, let's try inserting these other two characters and see if Craig can lead them. But like that's not that appealing of a story.
Yeah, I think if there was a worst of the four, it might be this one for me, just because of these middle parts with Frizzboy and Scuba. Although I do like them, they don't even really take place within the sewer kingdom. You know, they're just kind of in random pipes. Like I liked when we were there and we saw her interacting with her disciples and all of the I guess the amenities there's not really. It's really just they're in the sewer, but
they've made it into a homey neighborhood.
Yeah, that part, the parts where there was the identifiable things. Yeah, I don't know, the wandering the sewer parts, they're still okay though, and I do appreciate the characterization with Craig stepping up and him like trying to emulate Sewer Queen. It does feel like a familiar beat that we may have hit already, but these types of things are useful for getting more Craig characterization. Who I think that's going to be a character that's always at risk of like under characterization. So I think it's always a good idea to hit these types of beats with him. But yeah, Alex, we flesh out the sewer kingdom more, and we see Sewer Queen, tending to all these, queen duties in the sewer kingdom. Who knew there was so much to do there?
And she humors kids that are obviously less intelligent than her. Like that kid is like blowing the pool tuba and just blows air at her, but like she's like, good job. You keep working on that. Like she manages to like keep everybody happy, and like her explanation for like why the sewer kingdom exists. Like I think there's a little bit of change from the pilot, because when I remember in the pilot they said that everybody in the sewer kingdom had webbed feet, but like here it seems to just be her that has the foot problem. Like everybody else is just for other reasons that they didn't feel at home in like the swimming pool or above ground. But I like that side of it. Like this was a place where all the people who felt left out could like come together and like feel like a part of a community on their own. So like yes, her every time she gave speeches, she is very charming and very convincing. It's just she is truly a queen.
Truly a queen. Yeah, Michelle, what are your thoughts on the sewer queen here?
I love the sewer queen. The one thing in the episode I couldn't get over was like, they are in the sewer. This is the nicest looking sewer I've ever seen, because
how many sewers have you seen, Michelle?
I mean, up close, not that many, but I mean, I was just like, aren't they going to get really sick and get so many infections and like ingest things?
People are so hung up over this. Like, it's a suburb. Like, the most you're going to get is like soap water from somebody washing their car.
Well, doesn't like toilet stuff go
I'm not
through
sure
the
that's.
sewer?
Yeah, I don't think that's how sewers work.
Yeah, that's what
Alex,
I kept being like. How do they not have all these sicknesses?
Maybe that's the bad sewer.
Okay, maybe they found like the good one that's actually just water.
That's why they want to map it to like make sure that the kids stay in the clean areas and like they can wall off the bad sewer.
I do like that they roped Craig into this plot in a believable way, right? Because he's like the map kid. He's the kid who makes maps. So they commission him to make a map of the sewer, which they don't have yet. Like that, I really like that as a way to get him involved in the sewer stuff.
Yeah, I do like bringing back the map aspect of Craig. That's something we lost a little bit of a thread on, and that's like a nice part of his character. And I do agree it was a logical way to tie him in here. Yeah, the Sewer Kingdom stretches the logic of the Creek. I think. I think kind of everything else. It's like, okay, you can kind of see that there's this place where all the kids go after school and they do these things, but it's like, really, there's a bunch of kids that hang out in the sewers. Like, I don't know. It
would be a little bit more interesting, or like it would try fitting a little bit more if they were like abandoned sewers, or like sewers that used to be used, but now there's like new pipes. So like these are just empty pipes now. Like that would be a little bit more believable.
So it's more of like a tunnel city than a sewer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be pretty cool too.
Yeah, maybe we'll get more Sewer Kingdom development as we go. Oh, my favorite part of the Sewer Kingdom was the music.
It's like entering the Lion King.
It was very reminiscent of like
that, Alex. It was just
like that. Water levels in video games, especially like Zelda Water Kingdom stuff. Like,
I could see that.
I really, really love that. Jeff Rosenstock music again, just really shining in these few episodes. The other thing that stood out was the dog decider. It had like the barking music.
I really love the barking music. And for whatever reason, it was just working for me. I'm a cat person, but I thought it was hilarious. I was so into the dog soundtrack.
Yeah, we'll talk more dogs later. But other stuff from Lost in the Sewer is the return of the Kelsey narration device back in a strong way in these two episodes. I think this was the highlight of the episode for me, was Kelsey's narration here as like, King.
Wow, no one like this more than Sewer Queen? How dare you?
Look, Sewer Queen's great, but she didn't say anything as funny as that. She's they call Craig her king, and she's like, King. No one was Kelsey's king. She was the main character of this story. She was the protagonist with the clearest emotional arc. She was the one with the sword. Yeah.
Although it's not true. I think JP has a more clear emotional arc than Kelsey does.
No, I agree. I agree with her assessment. This is Kelsey on the Overly Animated podcast talking about which characters of the clearest emotional arc. I agree. Hey, Kelsey's. I guess
we only know Kelsey on the podcast.
Yeah, I know. This was great analysis. She's a future in television criticism. I think so.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that was great. I think that was the best Kelsey narration so far. I loved it. We also have JP's firm handshake.
That got me a very big laugh. Like,
yeah, I like the
build up. Like, Craig, you get water shoes. Kelsey, you get a brand new car. And JP is like, oh, I know how lines work. I'm Nets. It's like, you get a firm handshake.
Yeah.
And then the music just stops. He's just like staring at his hand.
Yeah, this is we could psychoanalyze JP in this moment, but I don't want to. So
that's
like he leaves episode so sad too. Like when Craig and Kelsey are like talking, and it's like, yeah, whatever. Like he's still affected by it when he's leaving.
JP. I was hoping he'd just accept it and be excited, but I was really sad that he was like, oh, I realize this is not what it could be.
Yeah, they gave it weight, which I thought was good. Yeah, that was very funny. Okay, let's talk dog decider. We already got into a little bit. The dog music definitely stand out from this. The Fredites and Bridget. I think Bridget is potentially a prominent new character. I'm not sure if she's going to be back and in what capacity, but Alex, what do you think of Bridget here?
Her design creeped me out.
You don't like that she looks like a dog?
Like maybe that's the point. Like she's the cult leader, so like they're all supposed to be creepy, but like just like seeing her on screen made me feel uncomfortable. So I couldn't really enjoy her.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, because I feel like there's a trend of like evil redheaded girls. I'm trying to remember evil redheaded girls from other shows, but like I swear
like,
it's
she's just very very pale as well. So like
she's got those big eyes and they're kind of like glassy blue color. Like
yes.
I feel you, Alex. She scared me a little too.
Yeah,
Scared you.
Yeah. Well, it's like, what's going on here? What's this girl gonna do? I mean, there's a little like kind of wild card factor about her.
Well, yeah. At the end, she says, "I'm the new leader of the Fredites, New World Order."
Yeah, okay, that line was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bridget, like she's okay, but I think it's just the whole framing of the going to a dog to like make decisions, running back and forth, like it was starting to get repetitive. So like. Just into this entire episode, like there were moments, but I can't. This to me is clearly the weakest of the four, just because like it did feel like it dragged even more than the middle of Lost in the Sewer.
Y'all not appreciating Bridget. I think Bridget was wonderful, and I would.
Did you say she was going to be prominent? Please no.
Well, yeah, bring her back.
I could see her coming back.
Yeah, it's kind of just a gag at the end with her being the new leader, but they also could build on that.
Well, also, yeah, that's a thread that has not been tied away, so it could come back.
Yeah, I thought she was great. Love that she looks like a dog. Love her just...
Is that what it
like
is? She looks like a dog? Is that why she looks creepy?
Yeah, that's why. She's several design things about that, and just how much she's buying into this stupid cult is great.
And how much Craig got like recruited into a cult. This is like getting kids into Scientology.
Yeah, so here's my question. Is this about a cult, or is this like a parody of religion in general?
I think it's a cult.
I think it's a cult.
You could argue they're similar, but
that would be more arguing. Hey, aren't cults religions, or hey, aren't religions cults?
Yeah,
but like that's a different discussion.
Yeah, that was like a bold narrative choice. I will say, I think this episode started from a place that might hold it back, in that it was about it was like a parable episode. Like it had a moral about decision paralysis. Which is something that we've seen from a lot of other shows. This is the main character can't decide on what to do episode. And Craig, I don't think, has gotten into this a lot so far with these types of episodes, with it's just the moral of the week. And
he's usually the decisive one. Like he's the one who makes the decisions for the group. So like this coming out of the blue, like it's understandable in one way. Like, okay, he's fed up with making decisions, but at the same time, like this just coming up today of all days is a little weird.
I do think it's very relatable. Like this is definitely something I went through as a kid.
Me too. Like even today, like I get like a lot of my anxiety comes from stuff like this, like having to make just daily decisions, and like there are just days I don't feel like doing it. But like watching it on TV, I'm with you. I've seen this a lot already on TV, so like it doesn't feel new necessarily.
Yeah, so I don't like this as a foundation for the episode, but it's not really held back by it. I think it does transcend it for the most part, bringing in the Fredites and just going with this stupid like concept of the dog being the decision god. I think really, and they have other great stuff in the episode too, a lot of funny moments. So
I want to say like the highlight for me is the relationship of the adults. Like it's kind of in the
couple that own the dog are so good.
Yeah, like I actually like those pieces, like they're because we're so focused on the kid side of things, and like sometimes you forget that there's an adult side. But like the fact that they're taking the time to like actually give that some meaning behind it, and also at the end, like the whole "Hey, will you marry me?" and then it's like, "No, just give me your phone."
Taking me out of your phone.
So like that's a very realistic way of handling things. So good by them on not going for a cheesy ending. So I like those pieces the most of this episode.
So we're digging Stacy and the guy.
We don't know the guy's name.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed when they were just like talking about moving to the city. He's like, no, it's great here. We got a big backyard, and hey, stop worshiping our dog again, you kids. Get out of there. It was just like hilarious. They know this is the thing the kids do like all the time.
And someone correct me, but I think the guy is voiced by Phil Lamar. Am I right on that?
I don't know.
But yeah, that was a nice background gag with the two of them, and it had real weight to it. Yeah, the Fredites, we got into it mostly already, but yeah, Michelle, what do you think of this? The absurdity of them having the dog decide everything for them.
I think it's great. I mean, the thing I kept wondering is the dog just gonna like not like lick anything one time and just break the structure? But I like it even more that the dog just is just like up for it. Like he's an old dog; he's got nothing better to do. And then it's just like Craig deciding not to take the advice that breaks the cycle for a hot second, at least, until Bridget gets chosen. I liked it as an idea, and I do. You guys were saying you felt like it, like, you know, like we've seen this kind of like, oh, like person has to decide as an episode trope before. The thing I appreciated was we actually got to see some inner like character conflict for once between Craig and the rest of the group, right?
That's true.
He's, like,
I did like the Kelsey snapping at him.
Yeah, he's always running back and forth, and it interferes with them like having like playing the card game and having a life, and it actually like creates a struggle, and Craig has to deal with that, and that's part of what makes him decide, you know, I can't live like this anymore. And so I do like that. I feel like it added a little something to their dynamic in a similar way to the cardboard episode, which I'm sure we'll talk about later. So I think there definitely were good things to be gleaned from this episode.
Yeah, I think the cardboard episode gets into that a lot more, but that was also good here. But yeah, the other thing that stands out to me is just how many like side gags there are that are really great. Oh, also the beginning, it's JP wanting to dig to see what's under the creek, and Kelsey wanting to train in case of orcs. Yeah, Kelsey to JP, mud. It's more mud.
It's more mud.
Yeah,
but under the mud.
Yeah.
But under the mud.
Yeah, I really like that. But we also have this Renelope thing with the female rhino action movie star. They never have her.
That was so good. Yeah, and JP says something like, "Oh, it's too bad that she dies in the movie or something."
Yeah, nice, great parody of how female characters treated in movies like that. And then you were mentioning when they're playing the game and Craig has to run back and forth. I think the highlight is Kelsey freaking out over JP. Stick your mind games, John Paul. Yeah. That was great. Good.
Duck or goose?
Yeah, what game are they playing? Yeah, Kelsey was not having it. She does a pound it with Mortimer.
Oh yeah, she does.
We have the thing about burning justice and Craig picking the wrong movie.
I love that too, because again, like I can totally see Craig being the kind of person that just like scars him. Like he made one mistake and he can never make any more mistakes ever again.
Yeah.
Also misleading thumbnails, the bane of Netflix users.
It was good, yeah. And then we had this Kelsey and Bridget fighting, and we had the action shot of them. I made that the screen cap. And then also they come in to shot later, and they're fighting.
That's the screenshot you chose?
The action shot, it's great, yeah. It's stylistic.
That's the one that really tells you what this podcast is about in its essence.
I loved it. Yeah, more Kelsey battle scenes. That's what I want from this show.
but they cut off before we could see the battle.
Yeah. Well, that's why you needed the action shot. Jeez. But there's a little of the battle later, but I like that. Kelsey very singularly focused in these episodes on training sword fighting. The more of that in Lost in the Sewer, or more of that in Futures Cardboard. So let's talk about that episode. I can't believe that we had a 11-minute long Nintendo Labo ad on Craig of the Creek. I can't believe it. This is the future of product tie-ins. Nintendo Labo. Yeah.
See,
can you explain what that is? I don't know. What that
I want to say, I didn't know this even existed until you brought it up. And so
case in point.
I guess this works as an ad then, if this is what makes us be aware of its existence.
No, it's okay. It's not an ad. It's not a real ad. It's just the same idea. Labo is the new Switch accessory, which is just cardboard. And
are you serious?
Yes, and you can do things with it. Like it's.
What?
I haven't gotten it.
No,
yeah,
can you tell me
something?
It's just actual cardboard, and it integrates with the technology. Yeah.
Now I know there's a product before called Google Cardboard. Was that also
Google
actually
cardboard? Is a thing.
Yeah, that was also actually cardboard. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
cardboard.
Yeah. Why are people obsessed with cardboard all of a sudden? It's like a technological advancement.
I think it's like because it's cheap and supposed to be more accessible than other materials. That is my theory, but
It's like it's an aesthetic, I think.
God, I hope it's not just an aesthetic. I hope there's like a practical purpose.
Hashtag aesthetic.
Yeah, obviously Alex does not understand the mindset of Carter Brown because he is skeptical of all the cardboard.
Carter Brown's like a interesting Willy Wonka-esque figure.
Yeah. Michelle, what are your impressions of him?
He's a little creepy, but I don't know. I think he's an interesting character. I like his foof hair, and he definitely gave me Willy Wonka vibes, but for cardboard.
Well, let me bring up a theory here. Like he's a bit of a loner, and he ends up being the evil guy in this episode. In the previous one, we had the Trash Lord or the Trash King. He's also a loner, and he ends up being the villain of that episode. And like you also have the Scratchless one, who's kind of a loner. Is it a weird thing where like this show is portraying like people who don't want to be part of groups as they end up being portrayed as villains in their episodes? Am I looking too much into this, or
I'm gonna push back about that. For one thing, we have the kid who's resistant to the poison ivy, right?
Yeah,
he's
the Scratchless one, right?
Yeah,
he's not a villain. Yeah.
And Trash Lord, like you get like why he hoards stuff, but at the end he does like realize that he can like share the wealth, right? Like he decides to be more open.
Yeah, he gets redeemed at the end.
Yeah, he comes around. Carter Brown does not get redeemed, so like you're right that he is kind of a legit villain, but I don't think he's like the typical loner portrayed in the shows as we've seen it so far. But like I get where you're coming from. It is like a thing that keeps happening.
Junklord not really ends up being a villain. Scratchless one is in no way a villain. He's portrayed very sympathetically. But I think Carter Brown is like playing on that notion. Like he's kind of playing victim as being a loner and he's being mistreated, when in reality he ventured off kind of on his own because he was trying to impose his play tendencies on the group and they didn't want to do it. So there's obviously reasons for him being a villain, like that the show gives him that just beyond like him being alone. But like, I guess I was just saying, like, it feels like a bad precedent to set up, like, for kids who like don't like being around groups and like only seeing kids alone as like kind of like the bad guys in the show. Yeah, like, I mean, this comes up with anything. It's like a twist. Whichever character is the twist villain, it's like, are we portraying that group in a bad way? And it's like, one time it's fine, especially if it's an interesting character like this. I guess if it's a trend, but I disagree that it's a trend so far.
Okay.
But yeah, I thought Carter Brown, one of our most interesting characters on the show, like kind of like the straight heel turn villain, and he was wonderful, and he changes accents, and he has a backstory.
I thought
with
he
Zoe.
was Southern.
Yeah. I thought he's guaranteed return for Carter Brown.
Oh yeah, for sure. They set that up at the end. Well, also we have the little cardboard city and Zoe. Zoe was nice.
The thing that confused me was at first like, okay, is Carter just like mad nobody else was excited about the water thing as him? But then like there was that whole like thing about Zoe and how he's like, oh, I want to win her. I was like, where did that come from? What? Wait, what? She's just hanging out. What? So is this about his like weird fixation on her? Or is it about the cardboard? Or is it both? Like, I want answers.
He's a complex villain, okay? He has
two motivations, I guess.
Yeah, we're getting. So we introduced the Zoe character. I think is also wonderful. She stands out a lot. We get into some major Carter Zoe romantic implications at the end of this episode for sure.
It was a lot.
Yeah, Zoe says, give me one good reason I shouldn't turn you into paper mache. All these paper puns. Carter says, you could have been my cardboard queen.
And she's just like, get out of here. She's like not even going to engage. Yeah,
Zoe says, get out of here before I paper cut you. So yeah, it's I think that this kind of the episode almost plays it in a way, at least with the cardboard queen line, where it turns out to be kind of romantic drama all along, and it's not really this like philosophical difference. It's kind of just it ends up being Carter and Zoe rather than anyone else like in their cardboard society. I thought that was really interesting, although it was definitely not expounded upon in any way.
Yes.
But yeah, that was good. I definitely want to see more of the two of them. And, just in general, Carter, I think he was really interesting in his cardboard city. That was great. I love this,
Carter Cardboard City was so interesting.
New
Just like
Cardboard City.
New Cardboard
all
City.
the rooms and like how it's constructed and like the beds with the peanuts in them to make them a little more. It's just like I feel like that's such a great like kind of kid idea that they expounded on because like. Yeah, like practically, cardboard is kind of flimsy and it doesn't hold up that well. But like to a kid, to make your own place out of cardboard, that feels like so ambitious and cool. And to like take that and make it into an entire city, I think that's a really neat idea.
Yeah, it was really cool to see. I love how Craig relates to Craig, and this is like Craig's dark temptation, or like just
cardboard temptation.
Yeah, and it causing conflict in the group. That was like the big narrative thing that we haven't seen from this before. A little bit in Dog Decider, but really Craig and Kelsey are straight up fighting in this episode, and I liked it, and I also liked that it was resolved very quickly because they need to be happy. They need to be friends. But I think it had real weight to it. It's because of this outside Carter Brown influence on Craig. I thought that was all really good.
Yeah, it's also like a continuation of Craig just being hyper focused on whatever he's doing at the moment. Like also that Jessica episode back then, like he's focused on doing the catapult to the point where he snaps at Jessica. So like that just seems to be a trait of his that comes up every so often in here as well.
Yeah, I agree. It fits with his character, and I wonder if we'll see more of Carter Brown trying to negatively influence Craig in the future. Maybe Carter Brown's a friend now. I don't know. But this is definitely one of my top returnee choices.
Well, he can't be a friend. He has to know that Craig is the one who sabotaged the mech.
Oh, he
right?
knows. I mean, he like jumped on top of him, and then he had to go to the isolation room. I like that they keep using the sound effects for like the codes and stuff.
Yeah, they're like, again really
real.
Yeah, they're
it was
really into the role playing, and then Craig at the end is like, "No, he must have changed the code."
Yeah, beep, boop, boop. Oh no.
Yeah, first of all, we have a giant cardboard mech, which
that was amazing.
Yeah, it was really good, and JP is like, "You should have told me it was a giant robot." And
so what's less real life, this or the Sewer Kingdom?
The Sewer Kingdom.
Wow. Okay.
This is second though. I agree. This is another pretty unrealistic thing, but they built a thing and they're playing in it. I don't know. Craig at the end trying to take it down. Yeah, he's an unhinged cat warrior, and then he had a British accent.
Yeah, he had a British accent for some reason.
Is this a Black Panther reference?
I don't think so. But
I don't know.
Okay.
This was
British,
weird. Oh, it isn't British, but yeah, Craig was being very weird. It was kind of cool.
I liked it. It seems like a kind of thing, because Kelsey kind of puts on an interesting tone of voice when she does her internal monologue too. So it seemed kind of like reminiscent of kids. Like sometimes you just like get into a random character when you're in the middle of something and you just go with it. So I bought into it. I didn't ask too many questions.
Yeah, I like seeing the more playful side of Craig. I agree. That was good. We had a second Kelsey narration in this block of episodes is about them stepping on the, whatever is usually, it was just nice to be, it was nice to just be tallish. And then JP's like, "Oh, you're as tall as me." And she's like, "I need more cats. I need to be the tallest." Yeah, I like that from Kelsey. That's an interesting character, and cool she's conscious of that. Another good Kelsey thing. We're wasting precious sword fighting time. You do that every day. I like doing that every day. I like acknowledging that this is all Kelsey is focused on.
Yeah.
It's what she wants to do. So it's good. I think, I don't know if Future's Cardboard like 100% came together in like, in a cohesive unit, really great type of way, but it was like ambitious and like visually stunning and, just a very notable episode at least. I think
there were a lot of really interesting components to this one. So I think that alone was engaging enough on its own.
Yeah, like it's probably trying to do too much, but I'm fine with that.
The love thing just like kind of confused me, but that was like the only thing I had questions about. Everything else made sense.
I love the love thing. So you
do? Okay, tell me why.
It was on top of everything.
I love it more just because I like Zoe.
Yeah,
that was a late addition to the episode. Like, oh, okay, we're introducing the character now.
By the way, yeah.
Yeah, I think this is my number one Craig of the Creek OTP right now, Carter and Zoe.
No,
Is there?
no, it's not healthy. He's
I don't
putting her on a
believe-
pedestal.
Look, Michelle,
yeah,
sometimes
that's
you're into
bad
unhealthier
shit.
ships. So
Oh my god, no, that's so true though. That's
Yeah.
okay.
Sometimes,
you
sometimes
ship
they
it
pop
all
at you
you want.
despite everything, right?
Sometimes it's very unhealthy.
Are we going back to that JP and Maney ship?
Oh yeah, JP Main, that's the other option. Yeah, I ship that too. Yeah.
All the obscure ships.
We don't have many other
Lord.
options, but these that's it. Oh, well, obviously. Oh wait, JK. Obviously, the number one is the witches. That's the number one.
Oh well, yeah.
But they're probably canon. But that
they're
makes
canon.
It
That's
better.
yeah. It's,
Yeah.
shipping is no fun when it's canon already. Everyone knows that.
Oh, that's not true.
That's a lie.
That's a lie.
Yeah, no. Witches number one on the ship power rankings. Number two, Carter Zoe. Number three, JP Maney.
All right.
Okay. Give us your shipping power rankings.
And please don't ship the main characters, please.
Can we ship the parakeet with the dog?
What?
Yeah, why not? I mean,
What do you
dogs
mean? Why
don't-
not? Oh, many
Like a
reasons.
cat and bird situation. Why not?
It's not
Seems like a nice dog.
So you're saying okay to ship animals as long as they won't kill each other. Okay,
Yeah,
that's the one
totally.
requirement.
I ship Wildernessa and her dog.
I mean, the crime fighting duo. Yeah.
Yeah,
They're
the
very in sync.
best
Yeah.
friendship
What does
of all.
Cheese Sticks have to think of the dog in the Dog Decider
Oh.
episode? Yeah.
I think that they both
Fred.
recognize that he is upsetting the balance of nature, and so they look down upon the licking dog.
So Cheese Sticks would not get along with Fred, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay,
Gotcha. It's like how people see fortune tellers. Like, you get that it's a way to make money, but you don't respect their profession. So it's kind of like that.
Okay, I buy that take.
No,
That was well-
I didn't follow, but I'm gonna
like-
sure.
Wow,
sure,
you
I'll-
would take
I'll-
fortune tellers seriously?
I'll let it pass. I didn't follow does not mean I disagree with your take. So this was a weird stretch, but yeah, okay. So that was our cross episode portion. Okay, we've gone long enough here. So overall, Alex, I don't know. Well, if overall
Yeah.
these 4 episodes, what do you want moving forward from Craig? How about that?
Same thing as I wanted last time. Keep giving me side characters. Maybe bring back a couple, and let's have some fun. As for these episodes, Sewer Queen MVP. I think talking about this has made me think that Kelsey actually had a strong batch, like for the little screen time that she got. So
Yeah.
I enjoyed Kelsey getting a little bit back. I know we mentioned last time that she kind of dipped down those last couple of episodes, but yeah, these were still good episodes. We haven't had a bad one yet. Let's not jinx it by saying it anymore. But let's hope for more Craig of the Creek in May, please.
Yeah, apparently once a week. Kelsey is the best. Yes, we all agree.
Yeah.
Michelle, when is your Mortimer and Fred fanfic coming out?
I don't think I will have time for that. But
that's
if
the only
anyone
reason that you
else
wouldn't-
wants to write it-
That's the limiting factor here. Okay.
I mean, I might write Bernard fanfiction, like just him being himself and exploring the world.
Oh, well,
of
okay.
high
All right.
school, but-
Sorry to go back to the shipping
That's
thing, but
my real priorities.
Bernard and Alexis. Yeah.
All
that's-
right.
Yeah, I do. Honestly, I do want to see more Bernard. I don't know if that's gonna happen anytime soon, but I just I love him as a character. I kind of want to see more of JP and Kelsey, just either with their own families, which we've seen a little bit, or just I want more character, so maybe not conflicts necessarily, but just more stuff with the main trio. Because I feel like we've seen a lot of side characters and they're really cool, but I also just want to see more with our main crew. So hopefully some more episodes centered specifically around them.
Are you
moving
already
forward.
getting Adventure Time Finn and Jake missing fatigue?
No, not fatigue, but I don't know. I like them enough that I want to know more, and I think that's a good thing.
Yeah. So let's revise the shipping rankings one more time. Number one, the witches. Number 2,
Yes.
Bernard and Alexis. Number 3,
Okay.
these Carter and Zoe. Number 4, JP and Maney. There you go.
Swap 3 and 4.
Yeah,
Look,
okay, I agree with that.
Look, the blush didn't pop as much as the palpable chemistry betwing Carter and Zoe
Wow.
at the end of this episode.
When you call
There's no
chemistry,
chemistry. I don't think Zoe's that into him. I think
That was
she's wow,
angst
this kid's
chemistry.
back. Oh,
Yeah,
it's gonna wreck some
angst,
stuff
yes.
again.
It was
Yes,
a failed
that's-
Yeah,
introduction.
angst.
That's what shipping is
But
about.
chemistry
Angst.
is not angst.
Look, if fan fiction has taught me anything, then it's more about angst than chemistry. Okay, so that's what I'm going to stick to. So let us know
Television
what
has
your
warped your brain.
fandom is warped. Let us know what your Carter and Zoe fanfics are. I don't know what else we talked about, but yeah, any of that.
Send us your bring out your Beast custom cards, I guess.
Yeah. r/custom bring out your beast. That could be a thing. Custom MTG is the thing. Oh yeah, visit the Craig of the Creek subreddit r/Craig of the Creek. Get your flair. Alex and I worked hard on designing this place. It's great. And,
Good job.
Not Joe. Spend time on this. Come on.
Is this your new cardboard city?
Yeah, this is our cardboard city.
Your the virtual cardboard city.
Yeah, and so subscribe to Not Miss Our Craig podcast. Yeah, comments about what you thought of the episodes. Talk to us in Discord, overlyanimated.com/Discord. We have a Craig channel set up. And consider supporting us via Patreon, patreon.com/overlyanimated. Thank you very much to all of our current patrons, especially our patron of the podcast, Michael, aka Mickey. And thanks as always to our patron executive producers, John Ryan, Steve, Alex, Andy, and Hugh. Check out other podcasts at overlyanimated.com, including Final Space and Mysticons and potentially some other stuff coming up as well.
Steven Universe, OKKO.
Yeah.
I guess eventually we'll be getting Steven Universe, yeah. We'll see. Whenever that leaks, we'll be covering it, so find out it. We'll see if Craig episodes really are TV first. That's what Cartoon Network is claiming. That'd be great. And we'll see whether we'll be back to cover the show potentially in either increments of 2 or 4. We'll see. But yeah, we won't just do it after next week. The Brood, the next episode, we'll wait at least 1 more week. So, subscribe to not miss any of that. Thank you guys very much for listening. We will see you next time. Bye.
Adios.
Bye.